My name is Thomas Ledford, aka Taxman88, and I'm here to go through this video, which is scenario 3 out of lesson 1 tax class material that you'll be learning concerning how to prepare basic income taxes. And so I'm going to be using Drake software as a way to show you how to learn how to do taxes, as well as using Acrobat Adobe Reader as another way to show you how to prepare taxes using that software as well. And so between those two different strategies, along with some live training, hopefully you'll get a better understanding of what you're doing. But you definitely must print you out at least 10 forms of every type of situation you're going to need to be able to do them by hand to get a clear foundation set for yourself. So after you've done at least 10 to 20 by hand at home, using all the different forms and schedules and situations that you're learning about, that will help you to have a better understanding of what I'm doing, so you can understand better what you're doing. So like I say, return is already done for time's sake, and so what I'm going to do is go through everything I've done, starting with page 1, which is name and address, personal information. So we go here. It's simple, it speaks for itself. You're gonna put in the filing status. You're gonna put their social in, the name, the date of birth, what type of occupation they happen to be about, their telephone number, and address. And then you answer these questions here, where it says, anytime during 2019 did the taxpayer have any financial interest in or signature of authorization over a financial account, such as a bank account, securities account, or brokerage account located in a foreign country, which is no. B says, well, if A is no, then B is no as well. And then we go to H. During 2019, did taxpayer receive a distribution from, or was the grantor or transfer to a foreign account or trust? That's no. And at any time during 2019, did you receive, sell, send, exchange, or otherwise acquire financial interest in any virtual currency? No. So that's how you answer those questions on page 1. And escape, you come out of that. We hit escape again. And then we go to dependents. We just go in order. Go to dependents. Hit item detail, which gives you the full page. So we put in the dependent's name. Like I say, for dependents that have the same last name as the parents, you don't have to fill that section out. It automatically creates that form. But if you got kids that all got different last names, then you definitely have to put the last name of each child in this section when you get to this. Social, relationship, son, 12 months always, date of birth. Anything under 17, any child under 17, you go here and click C, eligible for child tax credit. Boom. And so the first question here says, is either of the following true? The dependent is unmarried or the dependent is married, can be claimed as a taxpayer dependent and or is not filing a joint return. That's yes. The next one says, could another person qualify to claim this dependent? We say no to that. This here section we generally don't even bother with. This is for more advanced training, so we'll cover that once you get to that level. Boom. So the next thing is right here, the tiebreaker rule as well. We won't be discussing that in this video, but in a live training session, we will cover that situation. So if you happen to come across something like that, you'll be familiar on what to do. And so what we do is we go to the next question. If this is not the taxpayer's son or daughter, did you ask why the parent was not claiming the child and document the answer? So in the situation where these dependents are nieces, nephews, because under here, these are different relationship statuses. So under here, if they would have been a niece, nephew, brother, sister, grandchild, then you want to say yes to this, that you did do this, you did do what this question asked you, and then document that. But since they're claiming their own, since it's a son or a daughter, it doesn't apply, so that's why I basically left it blank. The next question is, the qualifying person is the taxpayer's dependent who is a citizen, national or resident of the United States. That's yes. It says, did the dependent live with the taxpayer in the U.S. for more than half a year? That must be yes as well. Then it says, did you explain that he or she may not claim the child tax credit or just your child tax credit if the taxpayer has not lived with the child for more than half a year? Yes, we explained that. Did you explain to the taxpayer that the rules of claiming the child tax credit, additional child tax credit, or other dependent credit for a child of divorce or separate parents? Yes, we explained that. And then we go down here to this section. Like I say, this is a residency test. Out of the 5 tests for a qualifying dependent, residency test is number 1. So when it comes to these options, only click the options that you actually have physically in your hand that's going to go on the file. So if you got school records in your hand, then you click that. If you got a landlord's property management statement that shows her and her dependents on the lease, then you click that. If you have medical records, you click that. If you don't have anything off this list physically in your hand to put in the file, then you come here to other and you make a note about it. And that's the same way on this side. If you don't have anything here to justify the totally permanently disabled situation with one of these items on the list in your hand, then you go to other and you write out what's going on with that. And that's how that works. And down here, if you have a person that's 19, then you would click over 18, under 24 student. And if you had a person who's totally permanently disabled on the tax return as a dependent, you would click this button right here. So in these 2 situations, based on what's going on in this and with the client, is how you're gonna look at that. So we don't have those situations, but just giving you an example of how they go. And so what we do is we get page down, takes us to the next dependent. And so we put the name again, and social, daughter, date of birth. We put C, they qualify because the child was under 17. And again, the first response is going to be yes, the next one going to be no. This here information is left blank because we will not cover that inside this video, but we will cover it in live training sessions. And so for right now, that's just left blank. Again, if this is not the taxpayer's son or daughter, did you ask why the parent was not claiming the child as in divorce? And so all these responses here after that is going to be yes. And then over here again, the residency test is all about what physical documents do you have to show that the child and the taxpayer all live in the same house. And again, if you don't have any physical documentation, then you want to put in a note here explaining yourself, as well as having documents in the due diligence section as well. So we hit escape, come out of that. And the next thing we do is go to wages. We fill out wages, we click this here, connect that to the taxpayer, boom. We put in EIN number, put in the company's information, put in how much money they made and all that off the W-2. Then we hit escape, come out of that. Unemployment, we fill out unemployment out, we link that to the taxpayer, boom. Fill out the unemployment, put how much money they received, how much taxes, and all that, come out of that, boom. And then we go over here to go to EF selection. You want to link this ready for EF, meaning ready for e-file. Then we go to PIN number. We put the date and your PIN number in right here, boom, come out of that. Then we go to consent to disclose of tax return information. We just put the date in only. That way when we print it out, they can sign off on it. We go here to consent to use of tax return information, date only. That way we can print it out, they can sign off on it. Identification information go here. Boom. We go here to miscellaneous. We go right here to consent to disclose of tax return information to other firms, because we work with other people in this process, so we got to get information. This is the only form we got to actually put their name in here and date and put consent. So when it's time to print it out, it'll have their name already pre-populated. And then from there, we go back to general, we go to 8867. And this here asks, the first question say, did you complete the return based on information for tax year 2019 provided by the taxpayer or reasonably obtained by you? That's going to be yes. Question 3 says, did you satisfy the knowledge requirements? To meet the knowledge requirements, you must interview the taxpayer, ask the question, document, yes. 4 said, did any information provided by the taxpayer or third party or reasonably known to you in connection with preparing the return appear to be incomplete, inconsistent, or incorrect? That's going to be no. And then these 4A and 4B you skip and go to 5, say yes. 5 says, did you satisfy the record retention requirements? To meet the record retention requirements, did you keep a copy of any documents provided? Yes. And 6, did you ask the taxpayer whether he or she could provide documentation to substantiate eligibility for the amount of the credits claimed? Yes. This says, did you ask the taxpayer if any of these credits were disallowed or reduced in any previous year? Yes. And this here basically says that you asked the client in any previous year, were you audited or did you receive a letter asking for additional information concerning a tax return and you failed to be able to furnish the information they needed? And if they say yes to that, then you will automatically go here and generate an 8862, because that's going to be a requirement inside the file. For people who get audited who don't prove their case with the additional information they need to send to the IRS, then an 8862 is a form they have to fill out until otherwise told to by the IRS. And so we will go to 8. If the taxpayer is reporting self-employment income, did you ask adequate questions to prepare and complete correct Schedule C? That's going to be yes if you had that case. If not applicable. 9 will be, have you determined that the taxpayer is in fact eligible to claim the EIC for the number of children for whom the EIC is? And you say yes. Basically, when you got dependents on a tax return and they made enough money where they're going to receive earned income credit, you basically want to say yes to these 3, 9, A, B, and C. A head of household only. So if you're not claiming head of household on that, just leave it blank. Did you certify that the answers to the 8867 are, to the best of your knowledge, true, correct, and complete? You say yes to that. Okay, right under here it says, was the taxpayer spouse, if filing jointly, a non-resident alien? No. Could the taxpayer or spouse filing a joint be qualified child of another? No. Was the taxpayer main home and the main home of the spouse if filing a joint return in the U.S. more than half the year? That's yes. If the taxpayer or spouse is filing a joint return eligible to be claimed as a dependent? No. So that's how you fill out the 8867, which is very important, which is going to help how the tax return is calculated. So we hit escape, come out of that. We go here. We go to income. We hit yes to this question. Does the income appear to be sufficient to support the taxpayer and qualifying children? We say yes to that. If you don't have any self-employment income on this return, you hit not applicable to this question. You come out. Boom. And if you had a household status going on, you would have to come back here and answer these questions to the best of your ability by asking the client these questions. Boom. You ask the client these questions. Boom. You let them know why you're asking these questions. Let them know it ain't me being nosy, but I'm filling out certain parts of the form that ask particular and specific questions to be in head of household. You come out of that. Boom. And then here, for people who going to receive earned income credit as part of their refund, you got to put the date, the name of the taxpayer, and the person who done the interview, and you want to have all your notes up in these sections right here. That way, when you get ready to print them out, they'll be able to sign off on them. And that's your proof that you documented. And so that's how we complete the form of using Drake's software. And then we go to view mode. And so in view mode, these are the forms that generated based on the data you put inside the system. So the 1040 generates the Schedule 1, generated EIC because they got EIC credit, 8812 because they got additional tax credit, and of course the paid prepares due diligence checklist generated. And these are these are due diligence assistants. These are the things that's going to generate for all clients who receive earned income credit. And so that's one. You got to click and print out. This is another one. You got to click and print out. It's another one. You got to click and print out. This is another one. So there's 4 different forms that you got to click and print out that they got to sign up on. On these forms, they sign the top, you sign the bottom. That's how they work for all the due diligence forms. They gonna sign the top portion, your signature goes up under theirs. That's how that works. This is 8879, and this is how we send information electronically to the IRS, and we use PIN numbers. This is the PIN number that's associated with the client, and this is my PIN number that's associated with me. And so that's how that works. These are the consent forms that we talked about inside the software. This is the only one we had to quickly fill out, but the other 2, this one here, look like the same one, which makes no sense, but the bottom line is, see right here, this is where they got to print this out. They're going to sign right here under their name. And for people who are not doing the bank product, then it's only going to be 2 consent forms. For people who paying out of pocket, they're only going to have 2 consent forms. For all clients who paying through their refund, it'll be 3 consent forms. And then what we'll do next, we'll go to engagement letter. This is a letter that we'll print out. You would ask them to read this here, a letter that we gave them. And from there, they'll sign and date it, acknowledging that they read it. And then here, our privacy policy, we make sure we print everybody out a privacy policy. Let them know we do not discuss your information with anyone whatsoever. And then, like I said, if they're paying out of pocket, we print them out a bill. And that's how that works when it comes to that. And so this is how we prepare return using Drake. And I'll see you in my next video.